To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
What's up, the internet? It's Dante from Clerks, aka Kyle, and that is Randall, aka Dan.
Yep.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
He's not.
But I'm here anyway.
No, because he's a slave to the man.
Well, because somebody put gum in the locks. Who would put gum in the locks?
Heathens.
What kind of people would do that to me? Oh well. I blame Walt Flanagan, and if you don't get that joke, then we can't even be friends anymore, the internet.
Bunch of animals in this town. Okay, I think JD knows the script better than I do.
It's true. It's true. I'm just going to go to movies now.
Well, at least you've got a girlfriend that brings you lasagna, right?
Exactly. So, Dan and I are both fresh off vacation. We're both a little punchy.
Yes.
I'm hopped up on pain meds. Dan,
do we happen?
He was in mid California.
Do we happen to have 37 books to do today?
We have a great many books to do today.
37 would be appropriate for this.
It's true. Very true.
Okay.
Should we start or should we just yak some more?
I'm always a fan for the yakking, but did you see Black Widow?
I did not.
Okay.
I was going to go today, but I was in no mood to go to the movie theater and deal with people. And I'm also in no mood to give Disney any more money than I have to.
Well, I'm actually letting as many people watch it as possible. So me, my girlfriend, my mom, my nephew, his boyfriend, my girlfriend's 2 kids. So I'm going to get it down to about $3 or $4 a person. That's
fair. But no, I've not watched it yet. It might be next week before I get to it, to be real honest. But one of the things I was thinking about is it's been so long since I saw Doctor Strange.
Uh-huh.
That, yesterday, I was trying to think of things that were psychedelic enough that I could watch while I was still on the good drugs after having had surgery on Monday, or had surgery. So I watched all of Loki.
Okay.
It made less sense, but it was way more entertaining. I'm just giggling at everything.
Yeah.
And then I was going to watch Doctor Strange, but I fell asleep. So I think my next Marvel movie viewing will be a Doctor Strange rewatch.
Doctor Strange is my go-to. I just want to watch something real quick. I need to put something on in the back. I tend to go to Doctor Strange. To me, it's the most balanced of all the Marvel movies. There's no cringeworthy moments.
If I need a movie like that, I actually go to DC and put on Shazam.
See, I'm not a huge fan of the Shazam movie. I don't
but if you need something that turns your brain off in the superhero pantheon.
Yeah,
it's that, because it's just what would children do if they had superpowers? Okay.
Yeah. Which end credit, JD? Black Widow or Doctor Strange or?
He's talking about the mid-credit scene from Loki, episode 3.
Black Widow.
Oh, from Black Widow.
Yeah. Yeah. There's still some huge plot holes in Black Widow, but I'll be interested in talking to you after you've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I can pretty much guarantee you I will dislike it. because that is my default setting on comic book movies.
Yes. But it's not working from any source material, and it doesn't have the name of any source material. So that is a strike,
Right.
not a strike against it, which,
Right, which is normally the thing that gets me. But if it doesn't do that, then I'm just going to have to hate it on spec. All right, let's talk about some comics, Dan. Let's start with the Big Blue Company and a book that thing where your brain plays the Windows reboot sound. A book that I'm actually kind of excited for from them, which is an oddity, but Infinite Frontier #2.
All right. This, of course, is coming to us from Joshua Williamson, Zermanico, and Mitch Gerards. Anybody?
I think Gerards.
Okay. Solicitation says, what secrets and changes lurk inside the newly expanded multiverse? The devious Director Bones of the DEO reforms a ragtag team to keep the new worlds at bay. But was highly skilled Agent Cameron Chase recruited because the director needs her help, or because he wants a patsy when things go south? Meanwhile, Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern, takes drastic measures to find his missing daughter Jade. Someone has kidnapped her, and Alana is going to find out why and bring her home. Plus, the resurrection of Roy Harper gives the former Teen Titan some unexpected and unpredictable new powers. I love the idea that Roy Harper is suddenly going to have new powers.
Right?
Because, I mean, didn't he, lose an arm at one point?
He lost, at one point, I think he was just a floating head in a jar. Roy Harper is the Kenny of the DC universe.
Oh no, that's not Roy, you bastards!
Right. They do terrible things to him.
Yeah.
But it's right. Dr. Bones, is Emily Deschanel in this? See, I was thinking, what is Dr. Bones McCoy from Star Trek? But no,
Director Bones, not Dr. Bones.
Same abbreviation.
DRDIR.
Close enough. But no, the thing I like about this one is it feels to me like Steed and Peele in the DC universe, right? There's a lot of that international espionage kind of James Bondian sort of. What's what I'm looking for?
The British super spy thing.
Right. It just feels like it feels more noirish than you'd like to give DC credit for having these days. But it definitely has that feel.
Cool. I do like when they give Alan Scott a spotlight again.
Yep.
He's a character that I think deserves more screen time. Actually, I've always wanted to do a 1950s comic with him and Jay Garrick as roommates. I think that would be a fun one, but kind of the odd couple done as superheroes in the 1950s.
So I just signed up for Paramount Plus, and they have all the original Odd Couple shows. And the Odd Couple's a play I've been in 5 times. JD and I were in the Odd Couple together at one point.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
The Odd Couple is my favorite thing, and so to have Alan Scott and Jay Garrick together, Jay Garrick's a neat freak and Alan Scott's not, or Alan Scott likes to stay up late and Jay Garrick likes to go to bed early. That kind of, because it makes no sense for either character to be that way.
I know. But I would also play in the whole idea of, him being gay in the 1950s and trying to keep it secret and dating somebody just to cover. And so I think it would be an amazing series to do.
Well, and you could make Jay Garrick his partner and it wouldn't really define any canon. JD, it wasn't the world's worst production of The Odd Couple. It was the world's most improvised production of The Odd Couple because none of us bothered to learn our lines.
All right. Is there any film of this? Because I think we should play it here on The Experience.
I do have film of it. The dirty little secret on that show is that our director was narcoleptic.
Okay.
And one of the things that would cause him to just randomly fall asleep is if he laughed too hard. So we just decided that we would improv the funniest thing we could think of to see if we could get him to pass out.
Okay, we need clips of this on next week's show.
I'll see what I can do.
At least 10 minutes will do.
I'll see what I can do.
All right.
All right. Speaking of Jay Garrick, though.
Yes.
The Flash Annual #1. This isn't Jay Garrick. This is the wrong Flash.
No, but it's the same universe. And what we got here is the from Jeremy Adams, Fernando Pasarin, and Brandon Peterson, who I love that he's on the Flash now. More Brando art is always better. Says here, the lightning-fast and action-packed Surge storyline races to its conclusion as Wally West returns to the present day with a new perspective on the past and a reinvigorated desire to take back the mantle of the Flash. With one last hurdle to leap, Wally puts the past behind him, but he'll need to propel himself further and faster than ever before to do it. And that's usually a pretty common line. They talk about the Flash needs to go faster. He needs to go faster. Farther, faster. It's like, yeah, we get it. His power is running.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I have not been keeping up. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest. That's why I don't read The Flash. I like Jay Garrick. He's my favorite Flash, but he had more to his story than just the running bit.
Yeah.
You know, and they've kind
Heavy
of
water.
Huh?
Heavy water.
Right. You know, and then there were the drug stories that they had with Wally early on that they've not done in a while.
Yeah.
Like, they've kind of reduced some of the depth of Wally and some of the depth of the Flash into this, I'm just super fast. Yay! Well, it kind of takes away from the fact that not always are they fast, and they need other things, and there's other stories they can tell with this. You know, I thought the show in the first few seasons did a really good job with the whole Flash, Iris kind of, okay, there's more to the Flash than just being fast. Mm-hmm. He's also a schmuck. But even that show had went away from that pretty quick, you know?
Yeah, I would. The one thing I'm not a fan of on DC is multiple characters with the same name. You know, Jay Garrick, Wally West, Barry Allen. How many Flashes do we need? Green Lantern, you can kind of get away with it because it's a core, but you know, the fact that there's 2 Green Arrows and there's, you know, it's like, can we just settle on one and tell that story for a while?
Right.
You know?
Right. I thought Marvel was going to make this same mistake at one point when they were going to have too many Spider-Mans.
Yes.
But then they started to differentiate them more. You know, and they changed different suits. The Flashes generally all look the same.
Yeah.
You know, except that one of them has a bowl on his head. Like,
yeah. Well, Jay Garrick's uniform at least is different enough, but they could give Wally a different color suit.
Right. Right. And they've done that, you know, in the past with other versions of the Flash, but they've never done it with Wally or Barry or...
Well, I thought for a while he was wearing a red suit with silver, and then the top was open, so his hair flew.
He was for a minute, and then Flashpoint happened, and I was like, oh, well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well. All right, so Flash is coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
Flash annual number 2021.
Right. There's also the Action Comics annual, which is, you know, kind of has the opposite situation of the Flash, where there is only one Superman.
Yes.
Like, never been a different Superman. But it's the return of Future State's House of L, which I like, because that was one of my favorite books from Future State, was House of L.
Right. So it's time to head back to tomorrow as Superman's descendants face a threat from today. This special tale connects Warworld Rising as the actions of Clark Kent in the present reverberate, leaving long-lasting changes and a deadly threat for the House of L to reckon with. Can Brandon Kent, the Superman of his era, stop the danger from hurting the next generation? Also, for those wanting to know more about Brandon's relationship with Theandra, the Temerian queen, prepare yourself for a little more romance. So this comes to us from Philip Kennedy Johnson, Saya Ohm, and Scott Godlewski.
Yes.
I had to think about that one for a minute.
No, so Philip Kennedy Johnson is one of my favorite writers going. A really funny kind of a side story is that he posted on his Twitter or Instagram or one of those pages some reimagining of Batman and Superman that were done by his child, his kid. You know, his costumes were different because it's a kid's view of these characters. And an indie creator friend of mine tweeted him, "Do you mind if I write fanfic around this?" And then Philip Kennedy Johnson goes, "Go ahead," and he tags like DC Comics and Murray Javins in it.
Oh wow!
So it's like, oh great, now now all the pressure's on to write good fan fiction for these characters with different looks. But House of L was one of my favorite. As I readjust myself here, was one of my favorite books in Future State.
You just want to be taller, don't you?
No, I was laying on my own kidney.
Better than laying on somebody else's kidney.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But no, it was one of my favorite books from Future State. And to revisit that kind of storyline and to bring back Theandra, gives you another dimension for this character. Even if Theandra only shows up in annuals and one shots and here and there from now on, it gives you a better feeling about.
Well, plus I think it's a good idea to keep these things kind of rare.
Yeah.
That way they're special. And if you're doing like an annual, that's where you pull this stuff out as an annuals and one shots or miniseries, and don't flood with it because that's when it loses its special.
Absolutely.
So.
All right. Should we move on?
Sure.
Batman the Detective, number 4.
Now, didn't this book change its name like partway through?
Well, I think it was Detective Comics for like 150 years. And now it's like Batman the Detective.
Yeah, just remember something about that. But this is Tom Taylor, Sandra Hope, and Andy Kubert. And Bruce Wayne is facing charges for the attempted murder of a former mentor and teacher, Henry Deckard, who, of course, was, if you're familiar with Batman Begins, that was Liam Neeson's character, his disguise character, his alias he was using when he was pretending not to be Ra's al Ghul. Now, and faces a grueling Interpol interrogation. Nothing is as it appears, however, as Gotham's expatriate charges into a lion's den of mystery and duplicity without the benefit of Batman's tools. Will the one-time Dark Knight escape unscathed? I like the idea if he's having to do this without his Batman gear. If this really is just focusing on him as the detective, as the mental part of it and the physical part of it without all the gadgets and the toys, as Jack Nicholson referred to them as.
Right. It's like, hey, man, go detect something. When was the last time you detected anything?
Yeah.
Well, now he's going to detect something. Did
you get a chance to watch The Long Halloween, the animated adaptation they just put out?
I have not. I have it saved. Like, it's on my list. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, and part 2 hasn't come out yet, but part 1, there's a lot of stressing on the fact that at this point in his career, he's not a detective. And he even flat out says, I didn't think this was going to be about becoming a detective. I thought this was going to be about beating up some people. So, yeah. The recognition that he had to learn to be a detective, I think that's kind of an interesting aspect to it.
Yeah, I agree. It's you go back to what year was it, 1930, whatever. And here's the Batman.
1939.
right, in the detective, as a detective. Well, what happened before that? Something had to come before that to give him those skills.
Yeah.
And it can't have just been, oh, my parents got murdered, now I'm a detective.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Comics tend to gloss over those things back then. My
Right.
favorite example is Daredevil. In Daredevil issue 1, he's just opening up his law firm with Foggy Nelson. In issue 10, he and a judge and somebody else are captured by the Owl, and the Owl refers to him, or the judge refers to Matt Murdock as the greatest trial lawyer of our time. And you're like, when did that happen? When did he go from I'm opening my law firm to the greatest trial lawyer of our time? Only one time in the entire run do we see him in court, and it's when he's defending Namor, who doesn't show up.
Right.
So, yeah.
They do. They gloss over the salient details of the occupational hazards of being a superhero. Like, you've got to learn your skills somewhere, man.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
So, all right, and we'll go back to the Batman with Batman Urban Legends number 6. With stories featuring the Red Hood, the Batgirls, Tim Drake, and the Grifter.
Yep, and we got Red Hood has Meet Cheer, the villain behind the insidious cheer drops, altering the citizens of Gotham. When confronted with a man responsible for taking the lives of so many, including Tyler, the kid Jason Todd swore to protect, will Red Hood be able to stop himself from taking vengeance for a whole city? Then we got a Grifter story. It says, through 4 chapters of Blood, Bullets, and Batman, the true reason for Cold Cash emerging in Gotham City reveals itself at last. But it's not what you think. There's a Tim Drake story. It says Tim is determined to find his friend Bernard, who was taken by a chaos monster before his very eyes. But this case is different from any Tim has taken on before, and the cracks are starting to show. The Batgirls have Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown are just 2 teenagers breaking into Wayne Manor so they can play some video games. But when Oracle gives them a mission, the Batgirls suit up and head to an abandoned arcade to investigate. That's a lot of stories. Focusing on the Batman subclass, but the fact is, but I want to go back to one of those, and it's the one JD just brought up, because he says, Tim is determined to find his friend who was taken by a chaos monster, but this case is different from any other Tim. How many chaos monsters have popped up and taken a friend?
Every time I hear a Tim Drake story, I think, God, we killed the wrong Robin.
Well, I agree, but I think it should be Damian. So,
yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I can't stand Damian Wayne.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I could get with that answer, but no, I like this Batman Urban Legends stuff because it isn't about Batman. It's about everybody else that's in the Batman-averse. Right?
So they could have called it Gotham Urban Legends?
Yes. But I like the fact that we're getting Red Hood stories that aren't tied to the Outlaws necessarily, that aren't, in that same vein as the New 52. I like that we're getting Grifter stories that aren't in the same vein as the New 52 Grifter.
Yeah.
That are new, that they're really developing a Cassandra Cain story in the Batgirls stories in these books. So it feels to me like this is a great way to give legs to characters that didn't have them before. That can get them longevity.
Yeah. By the way, I have an answer for JD, but go ahead.
I don't know with DC's publication practices changing and the way things are going, that's necessarily a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the fact that it's now possible. If that makes any sense at all.
No, it does. Makes a lot of sense. JD, the answer is if you're a chaos monster or not, buy yourself a Rubik's Cube. Solve it. If you put it on the shelf solved, you're not a chaos monster. If you immediately have to shake it back up and then put it up on the shelf, You're a chaos monster.
Or you could just listen to me and let me tell you you are a chaos monster.
Or you could do that.
No.
Except for he's over there.
No.
The other side of Batman. Yeah. There he is. Over there.
All right. What else do we have from DC? We had another DC book, didn't we?
That's all the ones I had.
Okay. Well, then let's do this. We've got about 5 minutes to break. Let's talk about...
Valiant. Valiant.
Well, no, I was going to say, let's talk about a book that I think you'll have a very unique take on.
Okay.
And that I'm kind of excited to hear. AMBERLAKE.
Okay.
And the reason that I feel like you've got a really good feeling on some of these pulpier characters like AMBERLAKE. Like, what was some of the other ones I was thinking of when I was looking at this book? Anita Baker. Not Anita Baker. Anita, she's the vampire.
Yeah. Anita, isn't it Anita Blake?
Yes, Anita Blake.
Yeah.
You know, some of these little pulpier kind of characters.
Right.
So,
don't know a lot about this character, though.
Okay. Well, I've been wrong before. But we'll talk about Anita Blake, Operation Dragonfly #1. Abandoned by her mother at the age of 5. Did I say Anita? AMBERLAKE.
Yeah.
Operation Dragonfly #1. Abandoned by her mother at the age of 5. AMBERLAKE was the only child. She was only a child when she was recruited to the Cleveland Institute, a school for gifted children, where she was promised a bright future. But predators hide in the school's administration. On the verge of exposing them, Amber finds herself fleeing for her life from the very man who took her in. Now a top recruit of a covert agency, dead set on ending human slavery in all its forms, she's going to destroy everyone who's ever hurt the people she loves. So, this is, this one is from Heavy Metal.
Uh-huh.
It's of the Magma series. It's a little bit of a bigger, oversized book from them. But no, like I said, I feel like this character is a little pulpier than we see a lot these days.
Yeah, no, I get the feeling from that. Just listening to that, the take on it, and it definitely has kind of a. It feels like it's a cross between like Black Widow and the girl with the dragon tattoo. And I think they're definitely going with the girl with the dragon tattoo feel to it. And that's probably why they went with Operation Dragonfly, just to be able to work the name dragon in there, the word dragon in there. The motorcycle helmet, that definitely has the same feel as the main character in that book series. So, yeah, I can absolutely see her on a revenge kick. And so, yeah, I think it's supposed to give off the girl with the dragon tattoo vibes. And it does. I mean, when you pulled up that cover, that's that vibe I got,
Right.
So I think that's probably the audience you're looking for there. If, coming off of Black Widow for the weekend and with the Red Room and all of that stuff. And if you're a fan of Liv? I don't remember the author's name and who's actually passed away, but the author of the Dragon Tattoo series.
Oh, yeah, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Is it like
it'll
Leaf?
come to me like at 2:30 in the morning.
Leaf Stigson or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he passed away before they ever got published. But yeah, if you like those things, and I'm a big fan of the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, not the books, but the Daniel Craig movie. I've seen the Scottish one or the originals, and they're great. But there's some things about the Daniel Craig one that I think are spectacular from a storytelling point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are into that kind of story, then I think this is probably right up your alley. Plus,
Absolutely.
Butch Gase artwork. Butch is an amazing artist, and I love seeing him get more work.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we will come back in just a minute here on The Experience with more books due out this week, including another book from our friends at Heavy Metal.
Yes.
and some other really interesting indie stuff that we're going to talk about. So we'll be back very shortly.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
You are watching Minute to Skim It on the Experience, so hello. All right, we've got lots of books to review for you guys today. And Hannah just basically showed up with just the number ones and showed them to me, and I was like, "Oh, we have
just for the indies,
just for the indies." Yeah, I was like, "We have got a lot to do."
Welcome back in the internet. I continue to be Dante from Clerks, who isn't even really here, and he continues to be Randall. Right before we went to the break, we had a book from Heavy Metal. We have another book from Heavy Metal due out this week. So
before we do, I need to say one thing. Every time I see the Minute to Skim It ad, I think someone started the wrong show, because it feels like the ad makes it seem like the show has started. So I sit here going, "Oh no, JD started another show in the middle of it."
Yeah, I like that ad, but that has been a common problem since day one with it.
Yeah. So just wanted to mention that.
I won't make that mistake again, or maybe I will. It's going to depend on how I feel.
Yeah, if you like messing with people and being a chaos monster, it's great.
I am definitely a chaos monster.
Yeah, that would be the one way to tell you. Oh, I guess the show's canceled. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck, Jen.
I just heard a story about a show that aired on NBC or CBS or one of those that was canceled midway through the first episode. Several markets. Oh, it was a pair. It was like Laugh-In, but it was all thinly guised double entendre and innuendo.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't nearly as funny as Laugh-In, and it was a lot less well disguised. And at the time, there were several markets that stopped airing it in the middle of the first episode. And more markets that refused to air it beyond the first episode, to the point where the network had to cancel it. It's almost as bad as the Paul Reiser show that only lasted 3 episodes. after NBC sunk a ton of money into it.
Oh, there's been a few shows like that, but yeah.
All right. Back on topic.
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal. We have Never Never #1.
Yes. From Mark McCann, Phil Buckingham, and Christopher Law.
Yes. So this is what would happen if Peter Pan was exactly as scary as it was supposed to be and not a Disney cartoon.
I could see that.
So let's see. Winter is seduced by the boy spirit Petros, aka
Sprite.
Peter.
Boy Sprite.
Boy Sprite. Petros off to Never Never, a place where children never grow up and adults are the enemy. What would such a place look like? Where resources are scarce, time passes, but age is obsolete. War with adults, starved and insane from constant battle is the norm. What would ageless boys free of civility and role models be willing to do to survive, to live forever? A young girl will face her greatest test, an island full of immortal cannibals with a dark secret that sustains its existence in the most unnatural and awful ways.
That sounds dark. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like somebody went, that Lord of the Flies book? Can we darken that up some?
Right? Or I was thinking, that Metallica song? What if we made that a comic?
Which one?
Enter Sandman.
Oh. Yeah. I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
JD prefers Boy Coca-Cola as opposed to Boy Sprite. See, I prefer what is it? It's dude, Dr. Pepper Zero is a game changer. Just throwing that out there.
Absolutely.
Into the soda wars, Dr. Pepper Zero is a game changer. I was gonna say I prefer Boy Sierra Mist. He thinks writing that comic got him on a list, though. Look.
Oh, it absolutely got you on the list.
Yep. Several, probably.
Yeah, we'll be looking for a new producer next week.
Yeah, seeing as how he's using my Facebook account. Now I'm on that list too. But I like the idea of taking these stories that people know. Pinocchio, Beauty and the Beast, Peter Pan, that people know from the Disney stories and darkening them up and going with the original more Brothers Grimm style.
Completely off topic, but the thing about on a list, and I was just thinking that if you and JD get arrested and they put you in the same cell, we suddenly just refilm The Odd Couple just in prison.
It's true though.
Da, 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 doink, doink. Da, da.
In the criminal justice world, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the clean ones and the dirty ones.
That's right, the slobs.
Yeah. No, I like the idea of getting back to more of the Grimm fairy tales kind of.
Yeah. What Zenoscope was doing for a long time, and then they've kind of shifted away from it too. Yeah.
Right, that kind of darkness that the Brothers Grimm had in their editors note. Neither of us played Oscar or Felix. It's true.
You would in the prison version.
I think one of us would be Oscar, and one of us would have to be Felicia. But we could deal with that later. The darkness, like that movie that they made, the Brothers Grimm or whatever, was super dark.
Yeah.
Same. So. All right. Let's move on to speaking of Zenoscope.
Yes.
They're having a major anniversary.
Uh-huh. They got 2 books coming out this week, but the first one is Grimm Fairy Tales number 50, written by Dave Franchini. And again, they don't have the specific artist listed, but Igor Vitorino's doing the main cover. And this is it, the final chapter of the Dark Book. Everything has been leading to this, but will Sky and her friends be able to rescue Shang and make it back out alive before their stories come to an end. They say don't miss this oversized finale. Now, I don't know if this is a series finale or just a finale of the particular episode, but this is the second time they've gotten to Grim Fairy Tales number 50, which is pretty good for an indie company.
Very good for an indie company. I mean, I don't know why they don't just keep going and get to 100, but
Well, they changed the whole direction of the series.
Yeah.
So they did it at 100. I believe they got to 100 because I was working on 96 and 97 as an editor for them. So they got over 100, but then they made a massive change on the story and what they were doing and decided to start over with a new number 1, and now they built up another 50 issues.
Well, there you go. I like what Zenescope is doing. I like that it's easy to jump into. I like that the stories are easily accessible.
Yeah.
And I thought, this one getting to 50 is a big deal, but now it does give people a chance to jump back in on the Grim Fairy Tale stuff.
Yep. Yeah, this is their one ongoing series. So, like I said, I don't know if this is where it ends or if it's just the story dark book ends here.
Right.
Guess we'll find out next week or next month.
Right. Also from them, though,
Robin Hood.
Yes.
This is from Joe Bruscia wrote this one. Mm-hmm. And all Robin's skills are put to the test as she tries to survive Goldie's Carnival of Terror. If she wants to survive, Robin's not only going to have to defeat an endless string of murderous circus freaks, and by the way, you have me right there with murderous circus freaks, but she will have to find the strength to face off against her own inner demons. Nah, let's just stick with the murderous circus freaks. I think those are more fun. This is called Robin Hood Goldilocks number 1. In this case, Goldilocks is the bad guy. Not every Grim Fairy Tale heroine is a heroine in the Zenescope universe. Goldilocks is a bad guy.
Well, she was kind of a bad guy in the original story, too, like breaking and entering.
Oh, yeah.
Petty theft.
Yep.
Squatting.
Absolutely. Yep. And I'm pretty sure she probably called the hunters in to, hey, those bears attacked me.
Was Goldilocks the original Karen?
That's what I was about to say.
All right, you're behind that.
Yep.
Goldilocks is the worst kind of people, and I hope Robin Hood shoots her with the arrow.
Is this the new Green Arrow? It would probably do some good sales, but no, this is Robin Hood for Zenescope. But this could have been this could have been where they went with on Arrow. When they were trying to do the future story with Kate McNamara, they could have went this way, and it would have been interesting.
I could have really gotten behind that.
Yeah. JD thinks that circus freaks are usually well adjusted.
And Karen K. Goldilocks, yes.
Yeah.
Goldilocks and the Three Karens is a very different movie.
Ooh.
Very different story.
I know one person who truly is a Karen in the way they act, and ironically, their name is Karen.
Moving on. A book that I have been hyping for literally since the first issue came out comes to an end. This is Silver Coin number 4, 2467. The way this book has worked is that every issue is drawn by the same artist, but written by a different author. So this one is Jeff Lemire. The cycle of horror travels far into the future for the 4th issue of Silver Coin by all stars Michael Walsh, Chip Zdarsky, Kelly Thompson, Ed Brisson, and Jeff Lemire. The year is 2467, and the old world has been buried beneath the junk of a new civilization. From the trash, a scavenger discovers ancient treasure, a coin. The price it carries, however, is unimaginable.
I hate when things get buried beneath the junk.
Oh, hey, there's a 5th issue. Oh, interesting. This was not originally announced when the series was announced, the 5th issue.
Ah.
But there's a 5th issue coming of this book in August. So that's something to be excited for.
Yeah. Probably one of his friends went, "You didn't ask me?"
No, I think he goes back to Chipper. I think it's Chip Zdarsky again. So yeah, Silver Coin. I've really loved every issue. And JD, you make a joke about shouldn't there be 30 issues? This is one of those coins. But also from Image, we have this book, Maneaters: The Cursed, #1.
Yes, let me find it real quick. Got my notes here.
Yeah.
I do everything from notes. Maneater's Curse. This is Chelsea Kane, Kate. Kate.
Nimacek.
Nimzek. And Leah Mitternick.
Yep.
Maneater's the Curse reunites the original Maneater's creative team for another Tales of Adolescent Feminist Daring Do and Supernatural Hijinks. Maud, now 15, is sent to craft camp for the week. It goes south pretty quickly. Smart, laugh out loud, funny, provocative, referential, scary, and chock full of ephemera, and compulsively rereadable. Plus, fairies. It says, do not read this book while actually camping. So I guess you could summon a few fairies by this book just by accident. So, Maneaters: The Curse. That is one unique cover.
Well, so Maneaters, if you don't remember from the first volume, is the story about a group of women. They're all in a family who, when they, how do I put this, come of age to begin their transition into womanhood from childhood, also become, when they're on their menstrual cycle, become man-hungry cat demons. And they literally will eat men sort of vigilante style. Anybody who's wronged them, anybody who they're angry at, they will attack and eat. Much in the way if you piss off a mountain lion.
Yeah.
It would do that.
I may have dated one of these girls in high school.
I think we probably all did. But this is the second volume of that story. Maud, the main character in this, was one of the main characters in the first volume. She was 13 in the first volume. Now she's 15 and she's at sleepaway camp. And hijinks ensue. The book, for the kind of dark story, sort of dark, semi-serious story, has a lot of great humor in it. It reminds me a lot of Good Omens or Terry Pratchett's work, where it's super heavy, but it's got jokes.
Yes. Yep. I think that's what made Good Omens so good, was the humor. Because that's some heavy subject matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Snow globe over your shoulder?
Is that a what?
A snow globe.
There?
Yes.
Yes, it is a snow globe.
You pointed at the snow globe and said, yes, that's a snow globe. Was there another snow globe to point at?
No, but there's other stuff behind me.
Anything else that could be mistaken as a snow globe?
I don't know. I don't know what's behind me. It's an Ohio State.
He's in the Ohio State room.
This whole room is
Buckeye.
so it's our home theater room, but it's all decked out in Ohio State.
Okay, so it's a snow globe of the poison nut.
This is our mascot.
Yeah, he's a poison nut.
No, he's
a Buckeye is a
poison nut. He's a man with a growth on his head.
Sorry, I used to watch the Ohio State-Michigan game and always rooted for Michigan.
Well, we can't be friends anymore. I should have done that.
I watched Tumunga Biakabatuka go for almost 500 all-purpose yards against Ohio State.
I remember.
It was beautiful.
I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
was alive in the 90s also.
Kyle had surgery yesterday to the anti-Trump surgery. He got a bone spur removed from his foot.
I wouldn't call it that, but sure.
Which part?
The anti-Trump surgery. I had surgery to basically help me keep my foot. So, also from Image, though, we have a pirate book.
A Man Among Ya.
Yes.
Number 5 from Stephanie Phillips and Josh George. This is all about the pirate queen Anne Bonny, and she is back with her crew of lady buccaneers after a harrowing escape from a Caribbean prison. But can they find safe haven on land or sea after Calico Jack Rackham's betrayal and the governor's promise to hunt them down and execute Anne? Now, this is the second volume of a Man Among Ya. And this is, again, Stephanie Phillips, who's currently doing Harley Quinn, and Josh George, who worked on Grim Tales of Terror and also 2000 AD Future Shock. This comes to us from the folks over at Top Cow.
So you put this on the list, and I went, how in the hell is it possible I've not heard of this book before?
Uh-huh.
Like, I am absolutely completely freaked out that I've missed 4 issues of this book.
Yeah, they've been putting it out for a little while now.
Yeah, no, like, and it's Stephanie Phillips, who I love.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. I'm having all kinds of, like, personal issues with this. But I will tell you, for me, at least, there's an Abigail Larson cover that I really like. It has a real strong steampunk feel.
Yeah.
And there's a Craig Cermak cover that if you didn't know it was this book and that it was Anne Bonny, you would think was a Red Sonja cover.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but I'm super angry that I got to go buy 4 books of a book I should have been reading since day one.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Top Cow doesn't tend to put out bad books.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that I missed a pirate book from a publisher that I read pretty much across the board makes me a little upset with myself.
I can see that. Yeah.
So let's move over and talk about we talked about a pulpy character a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Let's talk about one of the pulpiest characters.
Oh yes, Barbarella.
Barbarella.
I don't know if I would consider her pulpy, but she is definitely sci-fi, and she's sex and sci-fi all rolled together. And this is the second series from Dynamite. They've already done one Barbarella run, but they've got Sarah Hoyt as the writer, Madabek Musabekov as the artist, and of course that cover is Lucio Perillo, who does a lot of Dynamite's covers, and they're fantastic.
Yes.
Many of you probably are familiar with, Barbarella is a classic French comic character. Most of us over here were first introduced to her with the Jane Fonda movie. This here, the station says, the Siren of Space returns for a series of all new adventures by a dynamic new creative team. Camelot is home to the rich and powerful class. Wait, just a little here. Okay, Barbarella leaves space dock on a new mission, fraught with unseen layers of dangers, duplicity, and perhaps a dose of romance. Camelot is home to a rich and powerful class seeking escape from an increasingly crowded and decaying galactic empire. Desperate clandestine transmissions from an enslaved underclass bring Barbarella to investigate, uncover secrets that lead to more secrets, and the distinct possibility that someone knew she was coming. High-concept sci-fi meets the greatest aspect of the human soul in a series that will reveal wonders that both terrify and delight.
Yeah, so Sarah was on yesterday on Talking Shop here on the experience with Henri filling in for Miss Jen. So JD has been nice enough to put a link to that in the comments. I remember the Barbarella movie. I've seen the Barbarella movie, even though it came out long before I was born. But it's an important part of the culture. So
Yes.
When I found out that Dynamite was bringing this back, I was very excited. And then when I saw that Sarah Hoyt was on it, she's been around writing regular novels and video game treatment and stuff for a while. So I kind of knew about her.
Yeah.
So you put this whole team together, and I knew we'd get Lucio Perillo variants or covers.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited. I just everything about this screamed to me that this would be something I'd be reading.
Yeah.
And some of the incentive variants and the Brian Boland variants are just awesome for this book. There's a Jamie Tyndall variant that's great. Cosplay variants. Like, Dynamite has done the Dynamite thing on this, and they've got a bunch of great variants of covers that really do give you a reason to pop in on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And if you haven't seen the Barbarella movie, you should. But it is also the place where the band Duran Duran gets their name from.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's the name of the villain in this. So, and that's where they pull their name from. And there's also an amazing machine that gets he uses on Jane Fonda at one point in the movie, and I believe it also speeds up male libidos for people who are like 12 and 13, which is when I first saw the movie.
Can I tell you? You say Duran Duran, and I know they had more hits. I know they had Rio and several, but the only song I can hear in my head is "Girls on Film" now.
Oh,
because of what that movie is. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Hungry Like the Wolf, Blue Monday. I mean, just
yeah. I know they have other songs, but in my brain, it's "Girls on Film."
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Barbarella
sure
number one
will
in
be stuck in my head the rest of the night, but right now it's that.
Yeah.
But speaking of Girls on Film, somebody who they haven't made a movie about yet that they should.
It's supposed to be in production though, or at least being worked on.
Uh-huh.
But this is probably my favorite run on Red Sonja in a long time. This is Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner writing, Moritat doing the art, Invincible Red Sonja number 3. This is the most Robert E. Howard feeling of any Red Sonja series I've come across. And that's not to disparage any of the previous ones. They've all been really good. I love the character. I love reading it. But this one really kind of hits that sweet spot. And it says, Sonja's on the trail of the crown of Urkhara and the scoundrel who pilfered it, but her quest is complicated by a bounty on her head and a wave of assassins eager to collect. Heavy is the head that wears the bounty, as the she-devil with the sword is about to find out. Yeah, Jimmy and Amanda are doing an amazing story here. It's a lot of fun, but again, it reads like a Robert E. Howard Conan story.
Right.
So, and I think that's awesome.
I spoke to Jimmy and Amanda way back in January when we kind of launched the experience. And in talking to them, they were talking about how after things went down with Harley, that they really wanted to work on creator-owned stuff and characters that they felt they had a really strong story for that they really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of hinted at this. And then at Comics Pro, I'm helping Nick with his presentation. And he goes, we've got this Red Sonja book from Jimmy and Amanda. And I went, oh my God, sign me up. Because I knew if they were writing this book, mm-hmm. that they would be breaking ground on this character.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
now, I don't know if this is the actual Amanda cover for this issue, because it says number 2 in the corner, and this is actually number 3 coming out. But I checked, and that's what's listed. So just pay attention. It may be a different Amanda cover. Just keep that in mind.
This cover is the A. It is an Amanda Connor cover.
Right. But you'll notice in the top left corner it says number 2, and this is actually issue number 3.
Right.
So it might have been that it was sent, the wrong one was sent to previews, or the image they sent to previews may have had the wrong number put on it. Just keep that in mind when you go to the shop tomorrow. Make sure you get
actually the actual cover for this, the actual Amanda Connor cover, is a big battle scene where it looks like Sonya is in the middle drinking a cup of Starbucks while fighting a whole bunch of people. I can see the line art variant, but I don't have the actual cover available.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure everybody knew.
Yes. All right. Well, that will do it for the Dynamite books this week, and this is also time to take a break.
Yay!
So let's take a quick break, and we will be right back, and we will hit what's left of our books, including Marvel and some Skybound stuff and some other indies.
Yep.
We'll be right back in just a minute.
Be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Welcome back in the internet. It's me, Kyle, aka wasn't even supposed to be here today, Dante from Clerks, joined by my hetero life mate, Randall, which makes him the J to my Silent Bob.
Yep.
Yeah, my brain couldn't handle that, Jack.
We would have just left and let you run the show.
Yeah, I'd just as soon take a nap. But Dan has wanted to talk about this book since the first minute of the show.
Yes.
He has wanted to yell and rant and scream. So I am going to give him the whole screen.
Okay. All right, guys.
Bring this up.
You got to understand. Giving me the whole screen doesn't work because then I'm just behind the cover.
That's fair.
I am a big Valiant fan. I like the Valiant guys. You know, I've got the Bloodshot McFarlane figure. I got the Bloodshot movie right here. I have actually personally met, I don't know if I can actually get that to show. That's a picture of me and Ninjak. Okay. That's Michael Rowe as Ninjak from the Ninjak versus the Valiant universe. I am a big Ninjak fan. But Ninjak's my favorite character. Got a chance to read this book. It comes out tomorrow. And the story is awesome. It follows up on the last arc with the Ninja K, Ninja A, the whole thing. Ninjak is no longer part of MI5. Great. Jeff Parker, Javier Pulido, doing everything. David Nakayama cover is gorgeous. The story, it's topical. It's today. So, you know, I don't want to give away too much, but basically all of MI6 is compromised, and Ninjak, who's not even part of it anymore, is now suddenly thrust back into the situation. It is a good setup issue. I really enjoyed the story. I don't like the art. And it's not that the art is bad. It's not that Javier Pulido is a good artist. I don't want to disparage him at all. It just doesn't feel right for the story. And again, that's the editor's choice. They can say, we're going to go this direction, we're going to go that direction. It's a very different style of art than we normally get from Ninjak. And there's a good chance that you could pick it up tomorrow, look at the interior art, and think, I love it. It could absolutely work for you. And that's kind of where I'm going right now. I'm not telling you not to get this book. I'm telling you the story is great. It's a setup for something really cool. But the art isn't what we normally get from not only Ninjak, but I think I can only think of one other series that Valiant did, and it was a one-off series that had art that didn't fit kind of, you know, like the cover. It didn't have this somewhat realistic style. It's much more of an indie style, or much more of a, I don't know, if you're familiar with Javier Pulido's artwork, you'll get the idea. And like I said, a lot of people are going to like this style. It doesn't work for me. I'm gonna buy the book anyway because I like the story. I love the character. But just be warned. Pick it up. Look at the art. Don't wait till you get home, because it may not work for you. Or, like I said, if you're looking for a superhero story told with the very different art, come check this out. So that's my kind of rant on it. Not even reading the solicitation, because it's a good story. You know, like I said, It's a story that I am very interested in. It ties into the history of Ninjak, but it taking him in a new direction, introduce us a new character. All of it really works well in the story. Just can't get into the art.
Valiant doesn't publish a ton.
No.
So they're not going to put out a story that's not going to hit. In the sense that if they're going to put it out, the story is going to be good. However,
thanks, JD.
it doesn't always, and this is true of a lot of things in the Valiant universe. If it doesn't hit for you, it just doesn't hit.
Yeah.
The stories are always good, but sometimes they're just a miss for an individual's sensibilities. So just keep that in mind when you go out to the comic book shop tomorrow and you look at that one.
Yeah.
Now, Ninjak is a very long-running story. Like, there have been a lot of Ninjak's been around for a while, and I'm going to transition into something else that's been around for a while, which is Mouse Guard.
Yes, new Mouse Guard.
Owlhen Caregiver.
Yep.
Or Owlhen Caregiver.
Owlhen Caregiver. Owlhen, Owlhen. This, of course, is David Peterson. And the solicitation is, which of life's biggest lessons can be learned from the smallest among us. A young mouse learns that compassion and kindness are the greatest virtues in the owl hen caregiver. Piper the listener finds a brave mouse venturing into wild country to learn the tongues of the other beasts, and a grizzly old fur shares the lesson of putting a whisker out too far in The Wild Wolf. 3 poignant tales mark creator David Peterson's return to his beloved Eisner and Harvey Award-winning series in this self-contained special. So if you are a Mouse Guard fan, here's some new stories for you. If you've heard of Mouse Guard but have never picked it up, this is a one-shot, self-contained 3 stories. You could pick it up, introduce yourself to the world, and know if you want to go back and try to find some of the older issues.
Yes. Have you read much Mouse Guard, Dan?
I've read a couple issues of it.
Kind of
And
same.
I think it's fantastic, but I just haven't had a chance to read more.
Yeah, kind of the same. Is I've read some of it, and what I've read I've liked, but part of the problem I had with Mouse Guard is that there was so much of it by the time I came to it that it was hard to jump in. So one of the things that I've always done is read these one-shots that he does, and it tells you great stories. And by the way, they're all ages stories. They read like stories for grown-ups. But that's like the finer children's books that you get where, yes, there's a message in there for grown-ups, but there's also a message in there for kids. So really like that one. Let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum.
Okay.
That was an all ages book. This is a almost no ages book. This is The Lot from Bad Idea. I have been fortunate enough to have read this book.
Okay.
You guys know how I talk about that book Red Room by Ed Piskor?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is that from Bad Idea.
This is a comic book that you're going to want to take a shower afterwards?
No, but you're going to want to consult your therapist.
Okay.
And your priest. And anyone who's ever hurt you. And anyone you've ever hurt. And all of the film industry. And like, let me read this to you. In 1970, legendary filmmaker Oliver Larson began production on his latest horror masterpiece on a lot of Los Angeles' famed Cloverleaf Studios. Obsessed with bringing authenticity to the genre, the director insisted on casting real-life occultists to perform genuine satanic ritual live on camera, until something went horribly wrong. In the bloody aftermath, the production was shut down, the footage was confiscated, and the soundstage was forever shuttered. Until today. On the heels of a promotion that's just made her the youngest studio chief in decades, Aviva Copeland is planning to overhaul Cloverleaf's fading image for the 21st century, starting with a prime piece of California real estate that's gone unused for 50 years. The very same lost soundstage where Larson filmed his doomed masterpiece. But, as Aviva will soon discover, this corner of the lot may have been closed for half a century, but it's far from empty. And the evil that lives within its haunted walls will soon seize the chance to kill again. New York Times bestselling writer Marguerite Bennett of Animosity and A-Force and artist Rento Guidis of Deceased, Hope at World's End present a terrifying vision of horror and Hollywood in a boldly bloody Bad Idea manner. Look, this book is incredibly disturbing in all the right ways. Whereas Red Room makes you feel bad about yourself for liking it, this book feels bad about yourself for being complicit. It's that what's going to happen is bad, but you want it to happen. So I really, really, really enjoyed this. And I think you will too. And this is part of the final 5 from Bad Idea. So for those of you who don't remember, this is Bad Idea only has a few books. No, JD. But it wouldn't shock me knowing those guys.
Do you think they're really clones?
Final 5 coming from Bad Idea. This is one of them. They've got books now through the end of the year, and then the company closes.
Do you think they're really closing?
I think they're going to come back as Good Idea. Or something similar in name. The symbol formerly known as Bad Idea.
Okay.
They're not going anywhere. It's the guys at Bad Idea are Adam Freeman and Dinesh Chandamashi and no, not Mediocre Idea.
Idea and Design Works?
Well, they're all of those guys that helped relaunch Valiant.
Yeah. Hunter Gorison and
yes, and build Valiant into what it is today.
Yep.
I think that the company itself had a really strong plan, and then COVID happened, and so they had to readapt and change. And as a result, they've caught a lot of flack from the industry for being different. But they've made a huge mark for themselves.
Yeah.
So if they go away for a month or 6 months or whatever and come back as the people who brought you Bad Idea now bring you Good Idea, that goodwill is still going to be there. And that readership is still going to be there. So it gives them a chance to kind of reset, restart, and come back.
Makes sense.
So,
yeah, Dinesh is a good guy. I really like him.
Mm-hmm. And, Adam is somebody that I will always stand in his corner. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
All right.
They love comics is the key. Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. If I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be working with Adam. So,
I'm not sure you made the right choice. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm not sure you made the right choice.
I'm never sure I make the right choice. Let's head over to Scout Comics.
All right.
And we have this book, The Lunar Ladies.
Bad Idea goes into the witness protection program.
I'm pitching that to them now. You're writing it, but I'm pitching it. A whole comic book company has to go into witness protection.
Yes.
Because the comic comes out that's too close to what actually happened for the mob. So the whole company has to go into witness protection.
I like it.
I'm sending an email. You're writing it.
You got it. Let's do it.
All right. This is The Lunar Ladies, though, from Scout Comics.
Yes.
This is Omar Morales and Joel Kodajar. A million years ago in outer space, a highly advanced society of women lives under the surface of the moon. Their peaceful way of living is quietly fracturing from the inside as political ideologies pit Queen of the Moon against a geneticist hell-bent on usurping the Queen's power. The Lunar Ladies is an homage to the public domain character Moon Girl, complete Golden Age ray guns and laser rays. Pew pew.
It sounds like Amazon Women on the Moon.
There are worse things it could be.
Yeah.
No, I mean I like it when these companies have these stories that are based on these public domain characters.
Oh yeah.
You can take a character that already has existing canon, already has existing backstory, already has existing mythos, and put your own take on it. And that's what this is. I mean, Source Point does it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dan, you've worked in it with not Sunstone. Moonstone. See, I knew it was something in space.
Yeah. Dynamite does it with their Project Superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Black Flag and all those characters are public domain.
Right. So I like the idea of the reinvent.
Yeah.
All right. Also from Scout, Gods of Brutality. I love
Sorry,
how we had the exact same thought.
Yeah. That's a rock cover.
Do you just hear Slash, in the background?
Oh, yeah. I should have brought my bass guitar out. I could have done,
Like, I just hear, like, Eruption in the background, like, bow, 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 bow. All right. So the Black Caravan imprint in 2020, rock god Nick Dillon will step off the stage for the final time, ending a 37-year career as the head of the metal band The Gods of Brutality. They are about to release their final album, completing the story he set out to tell 37 years before. In his final interview, Nick reveals that when he died for 1 minute and 24 seconds in 1984, he was actually in hell where he was tortured by demons. In an act of desperation, Nick prayed to any god that would listen. Thankfully, his pleas were answered when Thor and Hercules were dispatched to save him. This is the comic telling of that story.
Interesting.
So, do you think it was Chris Hemsworth and Kevin Sorbo?
Actually, it looks like Chris Hemsworth and Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Well, then you might have a chance.
Yeah.
There's a joke here about how Kevin Sorbo is like a religious fanatic now.
Mm-hmm.
But he and I already have a contentious relationship, so I'm not going to make it.
Okay.
Might be Alan Steele. There you go. But like I said,
so we know it's not Paul Orndorff.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Or did he pass yet? No. No, I like this. This concept. It's a rock opera. It's the movie Heavy Metal. It's one of these things. We're gonna take this musical genre and use it to tell a story. And I like the idea of telling a story about a guy who's using a musical genre to tell a story.
Yep.
It gets very meta.
Oh yeah.
So.
I think it's a great idea. And I like the title of it too.
Yes, Gods of Brutality. You almost imagine somebody going, finish him. But nope, that's the wrong thing. This is what I want.
Canto
from our friend David Brewer.
Yes. Gotta find it.
Canto number 3, Lionhearted number 1. Canto 3, Lionhearted number 1. It's David Brewer, Drew Zucker. Fan favorite Canto continues. The tiny clockwork knight in search of a heart found his people's freedom and saved them from the curse of the shrouded man. But is he ready to face his enemy on the battlefield? After making the ultimate sacrifice, Canto bears a weapon that could defeat the shrouded man and free all the inhabitants of the unnamed world. Now he races to find a hidden settlement of his former slavers to enlist them as allies in the coming war. That is, if the shrouded man doesn't find them first. This July, join the latest adventure in the Cantoverse, that major spoiler called A Quest Story to Savor.
Canto's cool.
Yeah. I don't really have to sell you on Canto, do I? The internet?
No, you're either in or you're not. And if you're not...
But just remember, next month from David Brewer comes a book I'm very excited for called Killer Queens.
Having to do with Queen?
No, it has to do with gay space pirates.
Oh, okay.
And a monkey with a jetpack who's a bad guy. And his minions that are hench otters. Because otters are assholes.
You had me a monkey with a jetpack right there.
Right? But, I mean, go all the way back to Animal House. Otters are assholes.
True.
All right. We got enough time to do a couple more. So from Aftershock, Beyond the Breach, Ed Brisson.
Ed Brush and Damien Cucchiera.
Cuchero?
Yeah. Life sucks for Vanessa. Her mother just died and her boyfriend is cheating on her with her own sister. Damn. To clear her mind, Vanessa is taking the California road trip she's been dreaming about for years. Her postcard perfect drive through the old growth forest quickly turns when the breach hits. A bizarre anomaly in the sky plunges California into a nightmare world populated with strange extra-dimensional creatures.
How is that different from California now?
Well, the extra-dimensional creatures usually work at Starbucks.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. Now, Vanessa, along with Dougie, an orphan child, and Kai, a strange fuzzball of a beast, must fight to survive if they ever hope to make it back home. If there's even a home to return to. So this is Ed Bryson from Uncanny X-Men, Ghost Rider, and Old Man Logan, and Damien Cucchiero from Old Man Logan, Iron Fist, and X-Force. So yeah, it's a sci-fi road trip adventure about perseverance and finding family. So Vin Diesel should pop up at some point. Family, you know?
Yeah. And, old growth forests, so half of them are grouped.
Yes. You get double Vin there.
Yes. All right. I'm jumping around here because this is much easier on my big computer at the office. On my laptop, things are hard to see.
Okay.
Mighty Morphin number 9. Hey, look, it's Zordon.
I'll let you talk about that. You're the big time Power Ranger.
I'm the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers expert just because I had a crush on the Pink Ranger, huh?
Okay, everybody had a crush on the Pink Ranger.
It's fair. So written by Ryan Parent with art by Marco Renna. This cover is In-hyuk Lee. Will the Power Rangers make the right choice and save Angel Grove? The Battle of Angel Grove continues as a team grapples with a seemingly no-win scenario. Will they be able to defeat Lord Zed and his surprising new ally, or will their home fall into chaos for good? Let's hope it falls into chaos for good because I like Lord Zed.
Yeah, just once I'd like to see Angel Grove just flattened, entirely destroyed. Power Rangers get their ass kicked.
Yeah, I mean, I get behind that. As much as I like the Power Rangers, I can totally get behind that concept.
Yeah, change it up a bit. Make them a little darker, a little grittier. They lost,
Right?
Yeah.
What do we have to live for?
Angel Grove's gone, man. Why are we still doing this? Go Power to hell.
So, more Power Rangers, guys, always a good decision.
Yeah, I met Zordon at a con recently.
Yeah?
Yeah. Standing in line to go to a restaurant, the guy's standing next to me, and someone looks over and goes, "That's Zordon." I'm like, "Are you Zordon?" He goes, "Yeah." So I ended up getting a picture with him and talking to him for a bit.
I have so many questions that I'm not going to ask. Okay. Savage Hearts number 1. Aubrey Sitterson, Jed Doherty from Dark Horse Comics.
She's a brawny barbarian bruiser with a broken heart. He's a lonely beast man who talks to dinosaurs. What happens when they team up against an evil sorcerer? Action, comedy, and romance in this all-new jungle fantasy rom-com from Aubrey Sitterson and Jed Doherty. I can't do that voice and read properly.
Yeah.
Include the special print single-issue exclusive backup, No Kings, No Master, by Sitterson and Goran Glinkovich.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just like, in my mind, I can hear the 80s sitcom pitch for this. Okay. Yes. I'm Chuck Woolery, and we'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds, which I'm about to do in a minute anyhow.
Yes.
So, no, I can just hear the pitch. Okay, so she's a barbarian. He's a beast man. She has 3 kids. He has 3 kids. There's this witty housekeeper who's in love with the butcher, and there's a dog.
It's a lot like The Odd Couple.
See, I was trying to go Brady Bunch, but sure,
I had to bring it back around.
it's true.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back after this. I'm Chuck Woolery, and we'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
Today's comics market is ripe with new titles by creators who are determined to get their books into your hands. My name is Henri Compen. For the last decade, I've been making and selling my own creator-owned comics and dealing as a collector in live sales. My signature series, Yi Sun Shin, is the book that cannot be defeated in battle and has over 250,000 copies in print. Now I'm taking comics to the next level and laying the groundwork for my fellow creators to get their voices heard so they can connect directly with you. This is your chance to engage live with top comic book talent and get your comics signed without having to wait in long lines or pay any fees. But remember, we only have a limited amount of their books in stock, so always remember to call it as you see it.
What's up, the internet? We are back. This is In Stores This Week. I am Dante from Clerks.
I'm Randall.
He is Randall. I don't know if people still check out videotapes from the video rental store, but they will certainly come in and try and buy cigarettes from the Quick Stop.
This job wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for all the effing customers.
It's true. Although we love our viewers. JD, you can't type that. I actually own that as a trademark. Merch coming soon. All right. We have 2 more indie books, and then we can get to our... There we go. Thank you. We have 2 more indie books, and then we can get to our Marvel books for the week.
Yes.
Let's start with this one. This is Spare Parts #1 from Behemoth Comics, who every book they've done has been one of my favorites recently. Shout out to the gang over there at Behemoth.
Yep, we got a book from Svet Roskov, Nicholas Brondo, and Alberto Mastagia.
And David Murdoch.
I don't know. He wasn't listed, but...
Yeah, he's. I think he might be doing the English translation.
Oh, okay. Based on the upcoming Raven Banner and RLJE movie releasing in theaters this summer, Spare Parts features a group of women that get lost on a random dirt road. A tow truck driver arrives and tows them to his junkyard. Everything seems normal until they wake up with weapons for limbs and thrown into the fight of their lives. It's Battle World, folks. All right,
there's a variant cover for this book by Damian Connolly, who you'll know from You Promised Me Darkness. And there are the B and C covers are actually the movie posters for the forthcoming film, a heavy punk rock grindhouse of gore.
This reminds me of the grindhouse things that Tarantino did with the girl with the gun for a leg.
Robert Rodriguez directed that one. Yeah.
Yes. This totally feels like a Robert Rodriguez thing.
Yes. I love Robert Rodriguez. He's one of my favorite directors. I mean, and we're not just talking about Spy Kids. We're talking about all the other things too.
Oh yeah, Sin City.
Mm-hmm.
The Johnny Depp in Mexico. Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
The Johnny Depp in Mexico is an appropriate way to title that movie. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I love Robert Rodriguez. I'm in for this book. Like, it feels like a kind of movie I would go and see. Like, I might not go see Black Widow opening weekend, but this is one of those I'll see 2 or 3 times opening weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of movies. So very excited for Spare Parts. All right, and then a book that makes no sense to me, but is a massive seller. Probably because of the guy who wrote it. Skybound X, number, what is this, 2, 3? 2.
Yeah, number 2. Robert Kirkman, Ryan Ottley, and Cliff Rathburn. Mm-hmm. The second chapter of the wildest Walking Dead story ever, Rick Grimes 2000, plus the debut of a major new Stillwater character, surprising coda to the Birthright saga, and the first appearance of everyday hero Machine Boy. That's all I got on it.
Yeah. I mean, so you've got stories in here from Robert Kirkman, Chip Zdarsky, Daniel Warren Johnson, Irma Knavilla, Tree Vong, art by Ryan Ottley, Ramon Perez, Irma Knavilla, Tree Vong, Daniel Warren Johnson. Like, everybody who's on this book worked on this book. Cliff Rathburn covers. This just feels like a way to tie all the Skybound books together.
Yeah, like trying to create a cohesive universe.
Thing?
Yeah. Are they trying to create a cohesive universe?
Yes,
or just...
I think they're trying to create a single shared universe.
Interesting.
Yes. I don't feel like that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, it is an incredibly confusing thing.
Well, yeah, because it would be hard to understand why Invincible is in The Walking Dead. I think that would be a game changer.
I don't think that's part of it, but I think it's like The Walking Dead and Stillwater are in the same universe.
Uh-huh.
And The Walking Dead and Firepower are in the same universe. Which, again, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But, who am I to question Robert Kirkman? I mean, I'm just a dude on the internet. He's Robert Kirkman.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what does tie in and what doesn't, because he's got some other books. Wasn't there one called Outcast?
Mm-hmm.
Does that tie
So
in?
some of those are just straight up Image, and some of those are Image Skybound.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if there's not a difference.
Yeah, but Walking Dead wasn't Skybound at first. It was straight up Image.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'll be interested to see what comes out of it.
Yeah.
So. All right. All we have left are our Marvel books for the week. I think I was driving behind Robert Kirkman in LA one time because the license plate said dead inside.
Possible.
Could also just explain any number of people in LA.
Yep. Could have been my ex-wife.
Hey-o. Speaking of things that aren't dead inside, though, Star Wars, The War of the Bounty Hunters.
Yes.
Scoundrels Bail. Hey, look, it's a bounty hunter and a hut and a person in carbonite.
You got Charles Soule, Luke Ross, and Steve McNiven. This is the biggest comic event of the Star Wars galaxy, and it continues as notorious bounty hunter Boba Fett has tracked his missing prize, heroic smuggler Han Solo, frozen in carbonite, to the remote frozen world of Jakara. but representatives from many of the galaxy's most powerful factions have gathered, and they all want the same thing: Solo. Things go from bad to worse as Boba Fett realizes that he himself has become almost as valuable to the galaxy's hunters as Han Solo. And he must turn to the least trustworthy person in the galaxy for help: Dr. Aphra. Star Wars Bounty Hunters #2.
Also, Jabba the Hutt's on the cover. And the thing that we now are required to call Boba Fett's starship.
I don't think we're required to call it that. I think that's just what Lego named it, because Lego didn't want to put slave on their...
No, that's a Disney directive.
Really?
Yup.
Didn't hear that part of it.
I prefer sleeve one. Yes, you're right. Or you could call it the compacted chip.
No,
it
just
stores flat.
Salve one.
I just think you can come with a better name than, Boba Fett Starship, because we don't need another version of Jefferson Starship.
Solve one. There you go.
Slav one.
Well, you know the history behind the ship, right? It's
Which
one of
history?
5. It's the history of the ship itself. It was one of 5 ships specifically created to patrol a prison satellite. And it was basically floating the patrol ships for the prison satellite. And Jango Fett stole it, destroyed the other 4, and this is the only one left of the 5.
Okay, I thought you meant why it stores flat.
No, I have no idea about that.
I thought maybe they had a garage issue or something. But no.
Roof parking.
Yeah.
They can only park on the roof of the prison.
Clearly, it's just limited parking. No, like I said, I don't. They'll have to come up with a name for the ship eventually.
Yeah.
And that would be a nice little story plot. That would be a nice little plot point for the Book of Fett, where everybody's always called it this one thing. And he's like, no, that's not the name of my ship.
Yeah. Who would call it Slave One? Yeah. I do happen to know that a former editor at IDW, a gentleman named Dan Taylor, used to own a very old Nissan pickup truck, and the license plate was Slave One for a very long time until he sold the truck finally.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, I mean, I had Superman license plates, and I couldn't get UPERMAN. I tried and tried and tried. What are you gonna do? But no, like I said, I think that would be a great plot point for the Book of Fett. Is them going, oh, it's this. And saying Slave One, and him going, my ship has never been called that. I don't know where that came from. That's Jabba the Hutt made that up. Like, my ship is actually called Bertha.
Leroy
right.
One.
Right. It's the Leroy Jenkins spaceship. Got it.
There you go. Shampoo Jones. My ship is Shampoo Jones.
Right. Oh, God. Now I'm thinking about Osmosis Joe.
At least he has chicken. There you go.
All right. We'll go with this one next. This is Scream #1 from the, what is it, Extreme Carnage? It's Extreme.
Yeah. Extreme Carnage, Scream #1. Clay McLeod Chapman. He sounds like he should be a Highlander. Clay McLeod Chapman.
Only one.
Yes. Chris Moneyham and Stan.
So, just as a thing, guys, so Clay McLeod Chapman and Chris Mooneyham are both English creators. Or Irish creators. They're from the UK.
Okay. Then I'll stop making that voice. So, Curse of Carnage writer Clay McLeod Chapman returns to the character to lend his lethal sensibilities to Extreme Carnage. Andy Benton has always been a fighter, and that's never been truer than since she bonded to the Scream symbiote a few months ago. But after Absolute Carnage and King in Black, Andy has never had to fight like this. And worse still, if she can't save her symbiote from whatever unseen force is affecting it, she might have to do it alone. Yeah, I think her whole power thing comes from the symbiote, so that could be difficult.
Yeah.
Spam, 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 spam. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's true. Okay, let's. I don't know how I feel about these books.
Yeah, they're doing all the different symbiotes.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how I feel about these. I like my symbiotes like I like my symbiotes one at a time.
Okay.
And to have this many symbiotes running around just confuses me.
Yeah. You hate symbiotes, but you like a gathering.
I don't necessarily know what.
It's another Randall line.
Okay.
Just trying to stay in character.
JD, did you come on to translate for Dan?
Yeah, well, no, he was referencing Clerks that you didn't get.
Okay. My obscure reference gun jammed. So now we have two number ones.
But he did have surgery, so it's understandable.
Yeah. I'm not at 100%, which is still 50% more than I normally am. All right, so let's. There are two number ones left from Marvel.
From Marvel. Yep, put one up there and I'll tell them about it. Almost made it. You're almost done. Hang in there. Aliens Aftermath. That's right. Aliens Aftermath number one from Ben Percy, who is a writer I really enjoy. Dave Watchter. It's like the T's in the wrong place. And then Phil Noto. This is for Aliens' 35th anniversary. Can you believe it's been that long? A return to Hadley's Hope. It's been 35 years since the tragedy of Hadley's Hope Colony. But what happened to the ill-fated venture has been shrouded in mystery. A renegade crew of investigative journalists are headed towards the moon that Weyland Yutani has wiped from all records, and they'll bring back the truth even if it kills them. And what remains is that bombed-out site will try to do just that. Benjamin Percy and Dave Watchter imagine a terrifying possible future for LV-426 in a celebration of the 35th anniversary of one of the most influential science fiction films of all time. Parental advisory, folks. This one's going to get intense. Percy is a great writer. He's done so much good work both on Green Arrow, on James Bond, and on Wolverine. So now he's over here playing with aliens.
Year Zero at AWA.
There you go. So if you're an Aliens fan, 35th anniversary, pick this up, check it out.
It's almost like that movie came out before I was born. Feels like it's been that long ago. Oh, wait.
Making me feel old again there, buddy. Making me feel old.
I saw it in the theaters if it helps.
Yeah. All right, one last number one to go. This is
the book I'm most excited about from Marvel.
This is Sinister War.
Yes, my favorite faction is back.
All right.
The Sinister Six plus some people.
Yeah, Nick Spencer, Mark Bagley, and Brian Hitch. And by the way, Mark Bagley drawing Spider-Man will get my money every frickin' time.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Octopus is back, and the Sinister War has begun. Ock's got a new Sinister Six, and if you think he's thought big in the past, think again. When Ock doesn't know is that the Vulture has his own sextet. So the Savage Six. It's an all-out war between two of the greatest villains in Marvel Universe, and the only person they hate more than each other is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Spidey's in deep trouble with the toughest battle that he's ever faced. Nick Spencer and Mark Bagley team up for this epic Spider-Man story guaranteed to shock readers everywhere. This is like, let's just put them all in there. It's the Sinister Six plus 6.
Right, it's the Sinister Dozen.
Yes.
And they'll add one more in there, make it a Baker's Dozen.
Winchell's does 2 now. Do you get 12? They give you 4. So maybe there'll be 2 extra.
Duncan does not do an extra 2.
Nah, Winchell's does.
Yeah, we don't have those here. But I'll be honest, we didn't have Duncan that long ago. So
Yeah.
no, I'm really excited for this. Like I said, my favorite faction that Spider-Man ever has to battle is the Sinister Six. To add in the Savage Six, now he's got a dozen of the greatest bad guys ever created in comic books.
Yep.
To battle in an all-out kind of knockdown, drag out, sort of just.
Oh yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Battle Royale?
Yeah, that's a good term for it. Yeah. Plus, I mean, in Marvel, Spider-Man has the best rogues galleries. We're going to get pretty much the whole gallery.
Right. We're going to get everybody. Everybody you like is going to show up in this book. And then everybody you don't like is going to show up in this book.
That's
And
right.
Spider-Man's going to have to beat them all.
Yep. Without any help.
Right.
He'll probably get help.
Until his help shows up because it's Nick Spencer. And here's what's wild. Because it's Nick Spencer, you can't underestimate that Spider-Man actually has his own sinister plans, because he's actually a Hydra member or some craziness. So,
he busts out the Spidey Six. It's Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Silk, and two others I can't think of. It's Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham and
Noir Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Noir Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Noir. And they're like, boom, what are you going to do?
And then the other 12 show up. It's like, oh, shit, we need more Spider-Man.
Right. And then you guys will see my head just explode because there'll be too much. It'd be much too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should probably hold the book back from you for a week or so, give you a little more time to recover. You may not be ready for that much. JD, there's supposed to be
pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah. There's supposed to be a hyphen between Spider and Men.
But then it's Spider-Man.
Well, you put that, that's like, oh, that's Dave Spider-Man. He lives down in the corner across from the Tarragoses. Thank you,
JD. All right.
Yeah, I think you need to wait a few days for the book, man. I don't think you're up for it.
No, I'm not. But I will have it read by next week. I guarantee it.
Cool.
So,
but next week we'll be talking about a whole new batch of books,
including some you want to talk about this week that don't come out until next week.
There wasn't that many.
Just 2.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the week you gave me your whole list for the wrong week.
I was just working ahead. I was already on vacation in my mind.
Just planning. So, guys, that is all the books we were planning to talk about this week. But remember, head over to comicshoplocator.com, type in your zip code, and it will tell you where there are comic book shops near you that you can go visit.
Huh?
Dan and I both just went on vacation. I used comicshoplocator.com while on vacation. I don't know if Dan did or not.
I did.
See?
Made it down
I found out that where I went on vacation, there were no comic shops.
There was 3 where I was, and I went to Phoenix Books, which is a used bookstore in downtown San Luis Obispo, and it was a lovely store with a lot of old used paperbacks, stuff like that, and there was a couple other comic shops in the area too. Nice area. If you want to get away, a little cooler weather, I recommend San Luis Obispo.
I was in Athens, Ohio, which is a college town, so you'd expect a comic book store. There wasn't one. The closest one was in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and I wasn't about to drive through Mothman country.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Seemed too risky.
Yeah, but now you know where you can open a store.
Yeah, it's true. If they had internet, I'd be down.
They don't have internet in the entire city?
Oh, I don't know. It's just a joke that it's hill people.
Oh.
But they have killer pizza, so, like trade-offs.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah, make sure, but you could have gotten Tudor's Biscuit World. There was not a Tudor's Biscuit World there, JD.
Oh, my God. Why is it even a city then?
Alcohol. So, all right. But make sure you check out comicshoplocator.com. previewsworld.com for the list of all the books that come out this week. And make sure you stay tuned tomorrow for great programming here on The Experience and all rest of the week. Dan will be back tomorrow where he will not spoil Loki.
Nope. Do we know if I have a guest
he'll be back
tomorrow?
on Thursday to spoil Loki.
Do we know if I have a guest tomorrow or not?
I do not know. He has not emailed. I'm going to go ahead and say no, but maybe Thursday.
Okay.
Don't pray for my foot.
Pray against his foot.
Pray for my brain, because with my foot being messed up, I'm like stuck at home. So.
Yeah. It means I need to come up with something for tomorrow to talk about. So.
Probably Loki.
But I can't spoil Loki.
Yeah, but you could do a history on Green Loki.
On classic Loki?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could do that.
We could figure out why Loki's an alligator. Or as somebody put online, Alla Loki.
I love the picture that has alligator Loki on the back of Mobius riding a jet ski. It was a perfect Zen photo or image. Yeah. It was a beautiful thing.
All right, guys. I've been Kyle. He's been Dan.
I have.
We will be back next week on In Stores this week. We'll see y'all soon.
Get into your shops tomorrow. Pick up your books.
Visit your local comic shops. Bye, everybody.
Bye.